can we, everybody have a chance to read the minutes? Any comments?
I did. Yes. Make a motion to approve the minutes of last meeting.
Got a motion?
I'll second.
Got a second? All those in favor? Minutes approved. Okay, let's move on to first new business. ZB 5459, 290 Frontage Road. Consider variance request to GC 17-97, Section 3, to reduce the current front yard setback to 10 feet to allow construction of accessory structure, a tiki hut, at parcel 03-020-202. Property is zone plan development, GC 17-97, and abides by freeway and highway commercial standards. Jeff Holman's Land Design Associate, Inc., agent for Michelle Stewart. Okay, from staff, please.
Good morning, Christopher Carey, Glynn County Planning and Zoning. For you today, we have a variance for a front yard setback. There we go. Here's the site. It's on 290 Frontage Road. The request is to reduce the front yard setback by 10 feet to accommodate the placement of a tiki hut. The proposed is in a planned development where the front setbacks are 20 feet. Here's the design of the tiki hut to cover the outdoor dining area, and here's the proposed site plan. Here's what the tiki hut looks like on Jekyll Island. So they also have a Jekyll Island location, and this is what the outdoor dining looks like over there. It should be similar at this location. And here are your possible motions. Staff does recommend approval due to the commercial use and the minimal impact on surrounding uses.
Okay. All right. Anybody got any questions for staff?
Oh, yeah, I do. What would be the hardship in the situation?
It would be a self-imposed hardship. There is no hardship there. They are restricted in the use of the rear of the lot, as the rear setback is 29 feet. And they also have that neighborhood back there, so it wouldn't be conducive to put it on the rear of the site. So it is a self-imposed hardship.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there already, and maybe a question for the representative, is there already a deck that is already existing there, or is this all new?
There is an at-grade concrete deck out there, as well as it is fenced in with concrete as well.
Okay. And again, this may be a question for the representative. Just the proposed tiki hut, it's not to exceed that footprint. Is it within that same footprint? Do you know, or is that a?
Correct. So it can't go any further forward because there is a utility easement there as well. So they can't encroach upon that.
Okay.
I have a question. I don't deal in precedents, but what I've been thinking about in terms of respecting the Glynn County ordinance, if we, by making a move on one establishment, do we open ourselves up as a board so every restaurant, every kind of commercial establishment comes forward and saying, hey, we're not interested in following the ordinance either. We'd like a variance because we want to do this or we want to do that to our restaurant in terms of bringing in more revenue for us.
Yes, that isn't something that could happen. Yes.
Because I was thinking about that when the staff said that they approved. I was just wondering if that had been part of your conversation. And
It is a thought, and it is something that could happen. This area, and there are other areas where there are outside bars and they are covered. Being in South Georgia, it is something that is in our zoning ordinance is updated. Those are some things that are coming forward and proposed, but there are districts that have 0 lot line setbacks, 10-foot setbacks. It's not out of the question to approve this, but it is something to think about as well when approving.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not anti-business or anything, I just wondering if that had been part of your conversation, because that was the thing that came
Yeah.
to mind.
It is always a concern, and it is always something that you want to be aware of as well.
Thanks.
Yep.
Has something like this, been done before?
Variance to the front yard setback.
Well, in this kind of, zoning?
It's a planned development, so there are planned developments with 10-foot setbacks, yes.
In the front?
Yeah. There are commercial districts with reduced setbacks as well. So you have
So this development, this being a planned development, it could feasibly have been set up in the beginning to have front yard setback of 10 foot.
correct. So this one has a 20-foot setback, and our other commercial districts, it's 25.
Are all of them on this frontage road 20 foot?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions, staff?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a representative? Would like to come up and state your name for the record and
Good morning, I'm Jeff Homans with Land Design Associates, and I represent the owners, George and Michelle Stewart, with a T on the end. Just wanted to clarify that. So yes, Chris described it accurately, and the owners wish to appeal to your discretion to allow a non-conditioned, transparent type structure covering an existing dining area that does encroach into the front setback.
okay.
Yeah, I do. Y'all consider it like a canvas type of deal?
It has been considered, yes. And the owners prefer to pursue the more,
Or tiki look?
yeah, I guess it's part of their brand. And they're serving a part of the county they feel that is underserved in this type of establishment in this area. So they wanted to carry the theme of what they have on Jekyll Island to here.
And I would assume since the one on Jekyll has been there for quite a while, that, and this might be a county question, that it will be built to meet the standards being east of 95. It's got to meet the same building code standards as.
Correct, yes. It will conform to all building code standards.
When loading and that type of stuff.
What, is this Zachary's restaurant? Is that what this is?
The Tortuga Jacks out of exit 29.
Okay, I didn't know what everyone out there.
Where, I'm having
Right
trouble.
next, where there's McDonald's and then Zaxby's and then it's right there on that little,
I
straight
got-
across from QT.
Okay,
Gotcha.
I'm down another
Yeah, I
end.
was down the other way too.
So it's on frontage road, which is south of US 17. So it's
And that's an access road. It's not a high speed. It's not
that's correct.
because that was one of my questions is the existing structure. How far is the front of the structure to the road? Just from a safety standpoint, just curious to. I mean, I'd hate to be trying to enjoy a Bahama Mama and get a Kia in my back pocket.
To frontage road, yeah, over 20 feet, which is really all traffic on frontage road turns into Tortuga Jacks right there, because beyond to the east is a dead end.
That's the old Waffle House building, isn't it? Or
I believe it was Whataburger.
okay,
Before.
okay.
Yeah.
It's been a number of things.
And actually, I think it's the last one on frontage road too, if I remember.
It
correctly.
is. That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a long way from the highway.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was just one of my concerns, just from a safety standpoint, being not knowing how far it was from the road and it is a access road.
So there are various, improvements in the front setbacks of all these restaurants along there, mainly pylon signs, fences, things like that. So this structure is intended to be transparent. It's like a pole barn, essentially.
And the footprint's already there. They just don't want to put a tiki roof over it.
That's
And it's
correct.
already being used as a outdoor seating.
That's correct. And it's just in the full sun, and in the restaurant business, you want covered outdoor seating. Yes.
I understand.
Since you mentioned the word underserved, I was hoping you might open the door about the taxpayer. How does this benefit the Glynn County taxpayer? If we're making this, we're giving this variance for the restaurant to earn more money, how does it benefit the general taxpayers of Glynn County?
I believe it serves a need to residents and visitors to increase the tax base for the good of us all.
At what point? That's what I was trying to figure out driving in. Besides what I was thinking, besides the splosh, how does it increase the tax base? They're not going to increase the taxes on the property by putting up a tiki hut, right? So we're not going to get more revenue towards Glynn County for tax assessment on the property, right? So are we talking about like 1 penny on the extra, 1 penny, an extra penny on the dollar?
I don't know what the tax impact would
Okay.
be or what the assessment would be, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. I just, like I said, once you said underserved, I just, I was thinking about it, I'm saying maybe it's not an appropriate question, but once you said it was underserved, meeting the public underserved, then I was saying, okay, let's talk about how we're gonna serve the public besides me going there to pay and giving them more money. How is it gonna benefit me
Sure.
and all the other Glynn County taxpayers? That was just my question. Not a-
Sure. My intent in that statement was that it's a step above the quick service restaurant, which is typical of the interstate exit.
And if it sounded adversarial, it was not. I was
Not
just
at
trying
all.
to figure that out coming in today, just trying to get a sense, because that's how I kind of look
Not
at
at all.
things.
These
Okay.
are the owners and my beliefs. Yes.
Cool, thanks.
Right, anybody got anything else? Okay, thanks, sir. Is there anybody here to speak for? Anybody against? Okay, hearing none, discussion, gentlemen, or we'll make here to
I'm gonna
make them?
I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion that we approve ZV 5459 as presented.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, is there a
Second.
Got a second? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, opposed? All right. You got your variance.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Sucks getting old, got fair with pair of glasses to wear.
Beats y'all turn.
All right, so let's move on to ZV 5471, 108 St. Simons Avenue. Consider a variance to the Glynn County zoning ordinance 701.5 to reduce the current front yard setback by 6 feet to allow construction of an accessory structure on St. Simons at 108 St. Simons Avenue, parcel 04-02730. The property is zoned R6, one family residential. Rob and Joy Sweeney, owners. Coming from staff, please.
Good morning, Glynn County Planning and Zoning. This is Chris. Before you today, we have a variance for a front yard setback. Here is the property. It is located in the St. Simons Heights neighborhood. The request is to accommodate for the placement of a garage. The site is zoned R6 where the front yard setbacks are 20 feet. The previous owner had a foundation installed and had plans to develop the site. However, it was later discovered that it was in the front yard setback. The site would also require a combination plat as there are 2 lots or 2 pieces of property that are in question, and is also a part of the platted right-of-way. As you see on this site here is the proposed where the slab is. As you see, there is that 53 or 53.65 marker that shows the front. That line is approximately 50 feet and shows where that next property line would be. Staff doesn't have a record of abandonment for Park Circle, and that's the portion that has been claimed on this property as well.
So,
Am I missing something?
do the owners actually own both the lot? If there's no record of abandonment, did they purchase both lots or what's?
There was a quick claim, and I assume that was this. There was an abandonment on the rear of the lot.
So we
But
don't
there's
even,
no information on that front portion. So the front portion is grassed and is not improved. However, it is platted in that's a park circle, and it's like that for the neighbor as well.
So, but we don't even definitively know that this property belongs to this one owner. Is that kind of how I'm understanding that?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Could you go back to the plat? No, but the site plan, that's the garage right there. I don't see where it's where it's,
And that's actually a question I had, not having, it's not so much as I have an issue with the structure over an existing slab, but I have an issue with not having an actual survey to show me, because I rode by and looked at it. It looks like it's a pretty good ways back, but I want to know for sure exactly where it is. And then now the question is raised, do they definitively own that piece of property? I don't want to approve a variance or, put my vote on a variance where we don't definitively know that. If there is no county record, if something can be presented to prove that, then, we can get over that hump. But,
well, can somebody show me where it's in tracking on setback?
That's my question.
Huh?
That's my, I don't see where it's,
So this
I'm
is,
saying I'm not the only one.
yeah.
yeah, this is the record drawing, and then the actual plat is,
There's another plat that doesn't
Yeah,
show the addition.
yeah, it's in your packet.
Yeah, it doesn't show the addition,
To me,
but it does show the setback here.
Well, that's kinda why-
Where there's an infraction. of setback.
Right.
And I don't understand that,
But
on
almost-
the piece of property.
Yep, so the issue was that this one isn't 100% correct. There's one in the packet. I meant to put that on here.
I'm looking at one thing. It doesn't have any setback boundaries on there at all.
Now, the one that we have shows that same thing.
it shows it.
Shows it in, and that's kind of where I'd like to see an actual
And this
survey,
draw-
not an architectural
It's showing, I mean,
rendering.
right there is the setback line, right?
Yeah, but this is actually further up.
Oh, this further up?
Yeah.
So
Who drew this?
Yeah, it's,
this one, there's nothing wrong with it.
Well, but he's saying it's actually further up than this.
But I'm saying this drawing here is okay, yeah.
yeah, it's in the,
And as far as the amount of property.
Well, I still want to see an actual survey
I don't
to
know.
know definitively where it is. My bigger issue now is do they own the piece of property?
Yeah, so this was two lots.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, that was another one showed that actually, that property line is basically right there. And there's no true deed showing where that was.
Property line's coming like right through here.
Something needed to like,
So in other words, if part of that right there, they might not own.
right.
Yeah.
We need to define and clarify that first, in my opinion, but.
Yeah, who's in it?
It doesn't say.
it's, page 13 and,
I didn't print a paper.
Rented everything I had.
I was gonna try to be green, but I'm black, so I can get no butt.
No, it's keep my head.
Can I come with you, so?
Page 13. I think if I'm close to read that.
Is that on the back?
Sorry.
Right, look at it, we need to.
We'll do a field trip.
No.
And it's touched.
I still don't see it. That's it.
Yeah, so I guess it's that corner there. No.
Does it make sense?
I'm gonna look at that.
If it doesn't make sense to you, it makes
Yeah.
no sense.
Where's?
I don't see it. I don't see anything that's abandoned and I don't see where it's tracking on.
Towards the little, okay, so, okay, I see where it's, so it's actually out this way is where the.
It's inside the setback. I don't understand what.
But I don't see where where it's showing it was two lots. I don't.
Well, he was saying that
Yeah,
that's.
I see one lot there. What's been abandoned and I don't see a line that shows another lot. Can somebody show me another lot in there? You don't have that one in the slideshow?
so the other lot would be the area that's not hashed in the R6 zoning.
Oh,
Yeah, so
okay,
where it's
so it's
green
that,
and-
yeah, okay.
I'm not getting
That part,
Thank you.
we don't.
Well, and I think that's something, and we'll get to you here in just a second when we get through the staff, but for me, that's an issue we need to address before we even address the variance is do you definitively own the property? Who owns that property? Is there a true quitclaim deed, or we need some definitive answer?
In the front,
Correct.
I don't think we own that.
So, yeah, that's certainly gonna be a
But we
huge,
don't know, I don't know.
well, and that's something we need to determine, via an actual survey, not just an architectural drawing. We need an actual survey.
So you're speaking of
In my opinion.
the wooded little part right here? The little wooded part, is that what it's on there? Got that on old?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's this section up here.
It's the last page on the packet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's an
This is an actual survey,
But who drew it?
EMC.
Where does it say
What
that?
did it say that on?
Yeah.
The last page of the packet.
Oh, I don't have the pack.
The,
So, but this shows the actual, okay, so it shows that.
It shows the same thing that's shown on the architectural drawing, and I don't see where it's conflicting in the setback.
thank you.
So what that is, all right.
See, they're not,
Thank you.
So that shows, I guess, when was this survey done?
About a year and
Why did they not
show the,
show the
a half.
slab?
It shows the, does it not show the slab on there?
mm-mm.
No,
No.
it's for the setback.
It does, it's just very light.
Oh, very light, okay.
Disappearing ink or something.
So, okay, I guess. But it's that front, so if the, if this survey shows the boundary lines, it does come all the way out to that intersection at Park Circle, Park Circle and Second,
Circle Drive.
or Circle Drive, yeah. What was the question of them not owning that? Is that just not in the county records? Is that?
Correct, I haven't found a record of an abandonment for the circle.
But I think our, oh,
In this survey, what part are y'all talking about? There's a survey.
It's this section right up here, kind of across. Can you go back to that? The one, the slide that showed the,
Yeah, it's 12.
yeah. So the area that is not shaded in that light brown.
So we're saying that this is the area in question, say right here.
Correct.
And then and saying that the building goes into that.
How far does the building go into that space?
It is most of the building.
Most, okay.
Okay, so that's what the 50-foot right of way was the, okay.
So that property comes around this way.
Yeah.
So most of that is,
I think we need an abandonment before we,
I think so too. I just,
so from that lot, the 20-foot line to the building is we do not own?
From the red line that goes almost a little over about 75% of the structure.
That, I'm assuming that's the fence then.
correct. So basically,
I think we need
in kind of an arc similar to that is the question, this section right here is the question.
Our driveway is right there too, but I mean, that's been there for,
And driveway and concrete, that's a little bit of a different animal when we come up with the structure on it
What
now.
does,
So.
what does the surveyor say? The surveyor wouldn't have shown that on here, I don't think, unless he found something in records.
Oh,
They still show that 53.65 for that area of the property.
He's showing it going all the way down like it shows on the plat.
So on the plat, it has two different measurements. It has the 53 foot, and then it has the actual width of what was platted on the subdivision plat.
yeah, listen,
These are not right.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Oh, no, the measurements are correct. There's just no clear answer as to who owns what.
Okay. All right, I think we kind of reached a point here. We'll go ahead and let's hear from.
I have enough, can I?
Sure, yeah, absolutely, sir.
Can you go back to the slide? Yeah, that one. Completely different from what we've been talking about. That dotted line in the front of the square? No, on the structure. Right here?
Oh, that's just showing the garage doors.
Oh, that's garage doors?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. All right. So nothing's being added to that slab. The slab as it presently sits,
The slab where it sits right now is just slab.
and it's being, and if this were to go forward, its garage is being built right on that slab.
Yes, sir.
Got
The
it?
slab is legal to be there.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Well-
have something flat.
Oh, no, no,
If
no.
it's not on, if
I
it's
was
in that
just,
But
split,
if it's, well, yeah,
it's
it's
not.
legal to be there as long as it's
On their
not in, if that's not a right of way.
no,
Something-
being the layperson, I wasn't sure of the dotted line, because when I went there yesterday and talked to Rob, it was like, and then I looked at it again after I came home, and I'm saying, was that dotted line mean they were gonna add to it? And that wasn't in the conversation, and so I just needed to clarify for myself.
Yes.
It's correct, so, all right, I'm good, thanks.
Well, if that property is in fact abandoned, then there's no issue. Isn't that correct?
Yes. But from what I understand, that this is not exactly correct there. It's a little further up into
Well,
that.
I don't want to make a decision off of a document that's not correct.
I agree.
Yeah, and I guess the clarifying question would be, who's paying taxes on it? Is taxes being paid on that piece of property?
Good
And if
point.
it's, that would probably give us a good inclination if it's theirs or if it belongs to the county.
So let's,
A good survey would be, I mean, get a deferral for a good.
It's definitely play image. I think to your question, Mr. Matelli, what we do find this sometimes with alleys and right of ways. We've seen it a lot like East Beach, where many years ago, we're talking like 50s or 60s, there may have been a portion of county right of way that was quitclaimed to an adjacent property owner. So a lot of times the property owner has been paying taxes on that for sometimes 50 years, but we have no record of it ever being abandoned. So it sounds like we'll probably do a little more digging to see what we can find as well as what the owners can find in their records about any sign that there was an abandonment done in that area.
So
It seems like when the owners bought the property, they established a plat to what they were buying.
and or if they've been paying property tax on it, I mean, I can't see how they wouldn't be theirs with the 9/10 of the laws.
right. So I think,
How long have you owned the property?
you wanna, while we're here, if you wanna go ahead and step to the podium, state your name for the record, and we'll kind of,
Hi, good morning. I'm Joyce Sweeney. We've owned the property since, we just bought it in October.
Right.
So we're new owners. We moved in last May. We rented it and then we bought it from the current owners.
Did your,
We went by the survey that they provided. They
no,
did the
okay, that was my
survey.
next question.
Yeah.
Did they give you a survey of,
That copy of the
That's what
survey
this
is what.
is.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
okay.
Ordinarily, I wouldn't have, I mean, if we didn't have the question of, is that a right of way or not a right of way, and you bought the house and it was, I would probably vote to give you the variance right now, but I would like to see a good survey determine, or determine who owns that property, because I want to protect
Yeah,
you too,
I mean,
because
I'm
I don't want you to build a piece of
questioning
property
too.
and then the county say, this, half of this is ours, we're gonna put some offices in it, so.
Because we were
Yeah.
told, we've got a fence, as you probably saw
Mhm.
yesterday. So the fence, we thought anything above, in front of the fence was not ours.
Mhm.
And we are assuming, I think, talking to our neighbors that live over to the right of that, they own that whole piece. They were telling
I
us when they bought the property, yeah, I don't know, and they said it was overbuilt and they had to come and get approval to be able
Right.
to clean it out.
And unfortunately, we do see a lot of, especially as Stephanie alluded to, just in the history of things that happened
'Cause
40,
it's right
50
on the
years ago,
corner,
and fences
yeah.
were put in, and they're even not close to the property line, or even surveying technology has changed so dramatically in the last few years, it's a lot more accurate now, so. I personally don't have a problem with the structure going on there, but I'm not gonna vote on it until we know definitively who owns that property, because like my colleague said, we don't wanna give you permission to do it, and you put a building and then turn out, hey, you don't own it, and that's just gonna be a big old can of worms.
Right.
In essence, if that is your property, you don't even need to be here, because she's within the setbacks. According to that drawing, there's nothing wrong with that drawing right there, other than the red line to saying she's
Well-
not her property.
But if that is indeed where it's going to be, that's why we need to do a survey.
Yeah, and it's gonna show,
And it needs to show the existing concrete that's there now.
And
If
we had
if that's what you're going to use
Right,
for this foundation, is that piece of concrete.
and that's what the original owners, that was their intent.
Mhm.
And they had an architect, we have an architectural letter as well, who came out, and on top of this, they had it surveyed.
Yeah.
So they had it all approved, we thought, until we had our architect draw the garage, and then he said, hey, I think you're 6 feet within the setback. So he's the one that brought it to our attention when we had the drawing.
That's what I was gonna ask you. When I was talking to Rob yesterday, and he shared with me the story,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was just gonna ask you, do you know, based on what document your architect came? Because when, almost, not even paraphrasing, he said, yeah, he said, my architect called, said, hey Sweeney, Sweeney, we got a problem.
I think it was based
6
on the
feet
law,
into the
like
setback.
the 20, or however many feet we have to be from the street. And I think
Okay,
that's
because I was
what he
wondering then
was,
what, after all this,
Yeah.
like what document your architect was looking at
because originally.
to alert you guys.
Right, we were told it was fine, you can go for
Exactly.
it. And then we had him, and he did it based on, and he's an architect in St. Simon's, he's been here a while. And I think he looked at the setbacks, and he's like, if we measure it, you're on the setback.
Yeah.
Who's the architect?
Mike Kraus with,
AJ, you know him?
and Chad, Chad.
Go, Ricky.
Harrison
Harrison Design Firm.
Harrison Design.
Okay.
So I have the drawings here too.
Yeah, we've got the rendering of that. I think it's, we either have two issues,
Or no issue.
or as far as this board is concerned, we'd have two issues, or like I said, no issues. Because if this is in fact true, then you don't need us. But stepping back to the issue at hand, is I think definitively we need to find out who owns that property and where your front property line is.
Okay.
A survey of your, determining your property corners.
Because they put the fence up where they said was the property line.
Who's they?
The owners that own, previously.
I wouldn't,
Couldn't trust that.
Yeah.
not at all. That's
That's the thing.
about 99% of the time not correct.
So a good survey showing where your property corners are, not because like I said, according to this drawing, you don't even need to be here. Other than they're saying that
So that survey that we gave you is incorrect?
We don't know.
we don't know.
Yeah.
So,
And it's
Can't
so
read.
if, yeah, as Chris pointed out, we can't see it on ours, it's just a light. So, but if it's the same as, here, then the building is in compliance and does not need a variance.
Right.
If this is truly the property line, but since there's no county paper trail showing that front property has either been abandoned or purchased or whatever, so that is definitively your property. That's the first issue we need to address. I think we need to,
Well, if it's not their property, the building, the slab that's there is beyond the,
well, that's it. If it's not their property, then that's something that maybe code enforcement would have to be involved in. That's a whole different ballgame. That's not necessarily the case, and that's what I think the best option is to let's
let's look at a different avenue. If it has not been abandoned, then
Get it abandoned.
Huh?
Get it abandoned.
Yeah, well, that's my next statement. How long would it take to abandon this?
30 years.
So if there was a request for abandonment, it's a at maximum 2-year process.
okay.
It will be up to the county engineer to move that along.
Gotcha. We're certainly not against you, so please don't take it that way. Just we want to found because we don't want to.
Trying to protect you.
Yeah, we don't want to grant something that you spend what 150,000
I know.
easy,
Right.
probably 250 to build that, and then a year down the road, like crap, what do I do now? So my suggestion, I'll entertain a motion here in just a minute.
If you want to table indefinitely until you can get some more information.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, maybe
Instead of deferring to next month on the table until she brings it back.
that gives you some more time, that way, yeah, I'll,
Could someone guide me on what I need to do so I know, like, go to, I mean, I'm assuming another survey needs to be done.
think that,
I'd check with these people to find out what they based the property lines on. If they drew this, a surveyor will generally go check the records and make sure it's abandoned before he'll put it on the
Right,
document.
that's why I don't know why we can't, why we're not going off of.
Well, if we're going off of this, there's no need for a variance.
We were just going, we're here just because of we felt, the architect felt it could be over.
good, and we appreciate that, we really do, but now that there's other underlying issues, and it may be a non-issue if we can research it, and that's why, I think that's the best option.
And that's why I suggested that you ask
Had they
the
gone on that-
architect,
on that
because
survey
everything seemed to be
there.
fine
Right.
in front of your husband, then all of a sudden, hey Sweeney, we got a problem. So like, what did he see? I mean, if he saw this, that was good. If he was going by this, then he wouldn't have called your husband and said, we got a problem. So he must have seen some document to make that call.
I think he's saying the front of the garage is 6 feet over the setback.
And that's not listed anywhere for us to see. That's kind of where
Right.
that's where the confusion is. So we actually need to see what you're doing, period. I mean, because like this one, the buildings, the slab is not on this plat. If it is, I can't see it.
If it is, it's
Yeah.
too light for us.
It's
know,
very light. Once you
Really
keep
light.
reprinting it, it gets a little bit lighter.
Do you have it on this?
Yes, Quincy, could you flip over to the, Packet.
He had one of
and it's
these.
the very last page. Yep, it's that one.
Indefinite further.
All right, so there it is. There it is right there. It's hard to see, but you can see.
Really,
But that doesn't illustrate any of the
Of that.
the
Right, and that's what we-
potential right of way. So
all right, I think we're just kicking it down the road, I think we know where we're at.
make a motion.
Yeah, if we're gonna entertain a motion or,
I make a motion to defer.
Indefinitely.
or,
And-
do we want to defer, or we want to table?
You want to table it?
Yeah,
I make a motion to table.
I'll second.
all right, all those in favor? All right, so
See,
basically, what we'll do is we'll table it indefinitely, so that we don't have to be here at the next meeting.
Did y'all hire this surveyor to do this?
No, the previous.
So maybe start with either with Chris or Stephanie in zoning and planning, they may be able to help you. And then also with the architect who found this, say, okay, look, and then have him maybe get in touch with county planning staff and see if we can determine definitively and find that paper trail.
Yeah, we're just trying to figure out who owns the property.
Correct, and if you in fact do own that and there's some document that just went missing that is your property all the way out to here, then once you definitively prove that, I don't think you would even need to come back before us, because if that's the case, you fit the, in the setbacks.
But if y'all want to build some property on somebody else's property, I got some property. I'd be happy to let y'all help out.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, okay, any other business?
Nope.
All right, officially,
One more thing, I like,
take that back.
it seemed like maybe we got this, I'd like to be able to get the packet early. Any way we could do that, or, I think I got this 2 days before the meeting.
I think I got mine
We all
yesterday.
did.
Huh?
We all did.
Yeah, we can get that to y'all soon.
We go, you have to post these things like 60 days ahead of time or something?
Yeah, we post the signs, we have a minimum notice of 15 days.
A couple weeks earlier would be adequate, in my opinion.
But at least a week for sure, I give us time to run by and take a look at them and peek at them, so
Yeah,
it'll be
we can get those to y'all sooner.
That'd be great.
All right,
I can mention one more thing too.
Sure.
Actually, Commissioner Falsky has sponsored an amendment to our zoning ordinance to allow the Board of Appeals members to get compensated for your monthly meetings. So It did go before the,
Ain't a
so
boy water.
it does have to go through the full like zoning ordinance process to amend the ordinance. So it went to the IPC Tuesday, it passed. It's going to the IPC at the end of June, and then the BOC the end of June. So if it all passes, then I think July is when you would start receiving compensation of $100 per month. So thank you for your work and
Cover our gas and.
Thank you, Mr.
Yep.
McClung.
Thank you, Commissioner.
All right,
We get
that it? Anything?
Yeah.
Now officially adjourned. Thank you.